for getting stickers off works a lot better than the hair dryer. And like, when I use a hair dryer, then I try to clean up the what's left with the Goo Gone stuff. It sometimes smears the inks and stuff. This stuff did a much better job. I got that 15-cent sticker that's like 30 or 40 years old off that Aquaman, and it came off beautifully. See, it was right over where the 12-cent is. You can just see a little brown mark left. But what you do is you take a piece of silicone release paper and you put it underneath the front cover, right? And then you just you can actually wet it from behind, wet it in front. Use the where is it? There it is. So there's a little kind of brownish circle around the 12 cents because there was a 15-cent sticker. But considering how long ago comics were 15 cents, I'm pretty sure that sticker was on there for 30 years or more. And it came off really beautifully, used a plastic scraper. I got these pointed Q-tips to help apply it and kind of like push it under the sticker. It actually, after swearing by the hair dryer and my razor blades, I'm switching to this.
Well, now that you've seen that and showed that, yeah, I think I'm going to need to try that out. And guess what? It's Friday, you bastards.
The internet brings comic fans around the world into one comic book community. Comic creators and comic fans, tonight you are seen, heard, recognized, because comics are for everyone. Live from Miami, Florida, broadcasting around the world, this is the Not Near Mint Show.
Good start.
Oh, hey, Tacoma. Sorry for that lousy little intro there, but I needed to do something where I'm going, wait a second, he's talking about something that I need to know. I'm going to start this live and then just have him explain what Bestine is, because there are some books that I have stickers on that I absolutely need to get off of them. I've tried using heat guns, and yeah, it will work, but sometimes it will tear up the cover a little bit. So I guess as long as it doesn't hit the staple, it should be okay.
Yeah. So this all, first of all, didn't know I was going to be put on the spot.
It's okay.
This all
Sorry.
comes from MT. He gave me the information and stuff. And like you, I was a big proponent of hair dryer on sticker, and just like kind of hair dryer all around. And with the newer stickers, they come off pretty easily. And then once you pull the sticker off with like a razor blade, see if my son returns my razor blade. It sounds more ominous than it is. He was using it for something. Yeah.
We live, or wait, live wire
that I use, but just something like that to get underneath the sticker, and you just kind of, and you've done it before, and you know what it's like, and it's not bad. But two things happen. On the newer books, I almost always ruin the inks once you've got just like the sticker off, but you still have a bunch of stickiness. This works on Copper Age books or Bronze Age books super well. Like the inks in those don't run, so this works perfectly. But with newer books, modern books, I find I almost am always ruining the inks. So I was talking to somebody about that. I did one of my videos. Here's the razor blade that I use. Used to slide this just under the covers, under the stickers. I mean, hey, wood. And it worked really well. But MT kind of responded to me, and he's like, "Don't do that. Don't use your hair dryer. You're going to ruin your thing. Don't use your, don't use the Goo Gone." So I'm like, "Well, what do you use?" And that's where he told me, I use Bestine. So this is a solvent. Right, this is alcohol based, probably of some sort. I didn't really look at it too closely, and it basically got underneath that sticker or went through the sticker and just dissolved the glue like Nothing else I've ever seen. I've switched to a plastic scraper, a little bit safer. Just get the sticker, and like I was showing you, this had a 15-cent sticker on. So I mean, probably that sticker's been on there for 30 years or more. The book is over 45 years old. And so right where the 12-cent mark is, you can see a circle around there. That's where the sticker was, but you can also see that none of those colors ran at all. I didn't ruin the page at all. There's the inside. So I'm going to switch to this method. It just seems a bit safer, a bit more foolproof. This stuff dissolves, evaporates really fast, which is what you want. It's not going to soak your pages, ruin your book or anything. I felt pretty confident doing it, even though it was like my first time trying it. So thanks, MT.
Yeah, and even what I use right over here, I have a little dental toolkit, and this is mostly just for taking off stickers or peeling back pages. I have my X-Acto right here. I have my little tweezers when I need to pull back a little edge of a page. I have the little pick here, so this way if I need to pull back on something or put it a little bit more in place, it's just a toothpick. But this little piece right here just started tearing to shit. It's like a tissue paper now. So a $10 kit on Amazon, maybe I should spend a little bit more and maybe it won't fall apart towards the end.
Yeah, it costs like, I don't know, $25 for that little can. I mean, it's going to last forever, but it wasn't cheap. And they didn't have it at I checked, I think, Home Depot and another hardware store here, and they're like, "Oh, we can order it." Or one place told me another place had it, and I went to that place and have it. So I buckled down. I went to and ordered it, and we've really cut down on our ordering recently in the family, so we're not using it anywhere near as much. But sometimes you have to go to get what you need.
If only I understood what you were saying there, but I'm sure others do.
Evil delivery empire.
So what do you say? Should we go into the top?
Hit it.
Empire? Hit it. All right, here we go. Here are the top 10 comics from this past week. This is the second week of April 2025. The way that I do this is that based off of my 27,000 comics, almost approaching 28. I am a hoarder at this point. Do not be me, because if you ever have to move, this is going to be a giant pain in the ass. So as long as I hit value update and I have CLZ linked up with a paid account to CovrPrice, I can hit that value update and it spits out a list. That list is representative of at least one sale, and it could be wildly up, it could be wildly down. You could go, I wouldn't pay that, that's stupid. Well, you might be right, because there's a couple books on the list this week that are in the top 10 towards the upper 5, because again, I do this way: bottom 5 and then the top 5. So we're going to start with the bottom 5. So let me change the camera on over so you can see what I'm talking about here. We're going to start off with number 10. This is the first appearance of Reverse Flash, Professor Zoom. And just prior to coming on, I don't know what it is about these banners here. It looked completely different, but I guess prior to coming on, it just reset everything, and I did not have the time to fix it all. So whatever the show looks like today, it's going to look like. The modern convenience, right? All right, so issue 10, number 10, issue 139 of The Flash. This is in VG 4.0 condition, came out in 1963. Somebody paid $209. It is down 113. And again, we don't really have any movie that has to do with The Flash. The last one bombed. But if you're looking for Flash comics, really, now is a really good time. And considering that the stock market has been up 1,600 points, down 2,900 points, up 600, down 300, up 600. It's all over. Nobody knows what to invest in. So if you're just looking to invest in comics, Swaggle House was talking about it earlier this week, that you're not seeing prices really drop so hard. Comics are largely maintaining their value. So if you don't want to keep your money in the bank because you're fearing a Great Depression all over again, well, as long as nobody sets your house on fire, it's pretty good. New segment, Tacoma's rant and me, my depressive rant. So that one's number 10. We're going to move on over to number 9. Number 9 is Incredible Hulk number 122. This is the classic Hulk versus Thing battle. Now, this came out back in 1969, and my copy is near mint. I paid at least
Nice.
$100, but I paid $100 back in 2021. So this book in near mint condition that came out in 1969, it is down because, I guess they showed how big the Hulk is in the movies. He's pretty large. Well, then they showed Ebon Moss as the Thing, and it looks like they're not going to be quite size challenged. Like, he's going to be really tiny. I don't know if it has to do with that. I honestly don't know anymore. Sometimes I just don't understand comics, I think, because this should be a much bigger book than it is. $65 somebody paid for this week in near mint condition. It is down 61. It has lost half its value, damn near. Welcome to 2025, folks. But yeah, if you can wait, just about anything you can find for less these days. People are losing jobs, people are losing money, and if you're looking at eBay sellers and you're seeing it underneath like 500 sales, or rather 500 is their count, and you see that they've maybe sold 3 or 4 books, well, chances are they're the person that was fired, and you can't eat a comic book. So instead, they put it up, they get what they get for it, and they are able to stay in their home another month. Welcome to America 2025. There's Rob's rant. So here we go. Number 8, we have House of Mystery. This is the classic Bernie Wrightson cover. This came out back in 1971.
That's beautiful.
Pretty. So pretty. We've seen this cover used on t-shirts and plenty of other places. But it's down 2. There's no real first appearance or anything. And this thing's up and down anyway. So if you're willing to wait, you can get things less. You can get just about anything less these days. As long as it's not like a post-$1,000 book or so, because those you'll always be paying through the roof. But it might be less these days if it floods the market, and it has been lately. Well, in any case, this came out in 1971 in a 7.0 fine, very fine. Somebody paid $92. It is down 43. Now, this next one, I don't really... Right. The next one I'm conflicted about. This is number 7. This is We Live, The Age of the Paladins. This is the 1E Black regular Inaki Miranda variant. It's the sequel to the original hit series We Live. The original series is fantastic. Oh my God, I was recommending to everybody. Back when we were doing our show back in 2022, we were talking about not this particular book, but the original We Live, and they were killing children left and right. And it was heartbreaking because you'd get to like these people and then whack, they're gone. It was like space adventures for Game of Thrones. And then at the very tail end of the book, hey, here's some sci-fi superheroes. And we're like, okay, I guess that could be interesting. And the issue 5 went from a cover price book to a $100 book. Now you can probably get it for cover price again. But this book here, it came out in 2022, near mint condition. It has dropped $41. You can now get it for $9. It is about cover price. Low print. And the original series is great. Can't really say much about the sequel series unless you just, you like superheroes, and we all do. But if you're reading a drama, like say you're watching Fried Green Tomatoes and all of a sudden it becomes, I don't know, pick a superhero movie, Thor, and you're going to go, they lost the narrative. What's going on here? In any case, that's my rant. Number 6, we have the first appearance of Nova, Richard Rider. This came out back in 1975 in a very fine condition. This has dropped $23. It also has lost half its value, which has also lost half its value before that. This used to be over $100 book. Mine has some, we'll just call it rust, staple rust. I didn't know it upon buying it. Never buy anything with rusty staples, ever. There's reasons. That staple will come off from the cover eventually. It's called paper oxidization. Well, in any case, we were expecting that there was going to be some special, a movie, something. A lot of things got canceled, and the Nova Project was one of them. Because of that, dropped $23. It's now half the value again. $26 book. Those were the bottom 5. Now we're going to do the top 5. And some of these, I think you have an idea what they might be and why. And real quick, we're just going to throw this up on the screen. See, Woodard's got 1 out of 5 for him so far. Those of you watching at home, if you want to drop that in the chat, if you're 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 2 out of 5 for the bottom, but 3 out of 5 for the top 5, let us all know in the comments, or do drop it after the show. Hello, David. Mark Spector Comics. Good seeing you last night on the show. It's the man with the guns. All right, we're just getting into the top 5 now that we just dealt with these. We're not going to call them shit tier books because once upon a time they were selling really well. But then just a little bit of news, and all of a sudden, comics that the media says are hot, no longer hot. That's just the way that the world works now. So here we go. Number 5, we have Marvel Team Up issue 14 from Volume 3. This is the first appearance of Invincible inside the Marvel Universe. This is not the actual first appearance of Invincible. That actually happens in Noble Causes number 3. He is inside his own book. It's a $1,000 book. You could have gotten it at one point for easily under $100 just prior to the TV show. But a TV show comes on, you'll talk about it. This thing has a definitive ending. It will drop again. But how high did this hit this week? Near mint condition. This book came out in 2006. $181 somebody paid for this raw this week. It is
found that for like $2 and sold it for $60, but not for $180.
I had 3 copies of this because I was collecting Marvel Team Up, Invincible, and one I was going to give to a friend, and then the friend moved away, so I had 3 copies. I gave one away years ago, I think maybe to Kirk. Hi, Kirk, if you're watching. We miss you, Mind Shift. So the other copy I gave away to a comic shop. Now, why would I give it away to a comic shop? Because they said they got a bunch of early, like, single-digit Fantastic Four, and I was just paying it off bit by bit. So I just threw one of these in there because, this thing was already approaching $100 back then. And this was about maybe 2 years ago when Invincible is still reaching heights that we have just not been used to seeing. But that's the number 5 book, $181. All right. So next up, we got number 4. All right. If the label comes up, there it is. Okay, we got Spawn number 175. This is the second appearance of Gunslinger Spawn, because the first appearance is in 174, and you can even go back a little further into, I believe, 123, where he's in like one panel and then just doesn't appear for another 5 or 8 years. But in issue 174, if you look right along the spine, they always have the title of Spawn. Well, they misspelled Spawn and spelled as S-P-W-A-N. So again, as I always say on this show, just remember when you're out there in life that if you're ever not quite sure about other people in your place in the world, just remember this. Not a single person in this world knows what they're doing. Everything everybody has ever learned, they have learned from one another or from trial and error. Failure is just another word for success, because if you keep doing it enough times, eventually something works. All right, so this book here, 2008. This isn't even a near mint book. I mean, there's some ding. There's a little chunk right there. This little crunched. But this book right here, 7.5 raw, very fine minus. 2008, $252. It is up 26. Why? I mean, Spawn has so many books. They just raised the price. It's now no longer $2.99. It's going to be $3.99 for all the books. So I was picking up almost all the stuff. I don't read any of it. It's so hard to read. I wish I could get into it. Hey, if you're out there and you love Spawn, drop it in the chat. Let us know what's so great about it. Maybe there's something I could start reading that made you love it. Because for me, it's impenetrable. It's like trying to run through a cliff that Wile E. Coyote painted a road on top of. All right, so next up we have number 3, and this is one of those books where I was telling you at the very beginning, I don't understand comics anymore. What's going on? Why? I mean, one of them should have been on the list this week, and if it's not on the list by next week, I'm just going to pull it anyway, because one of these books is just fucking weird. All right, so here we go. Here's number 3. And number 3 is Tim Drake, Robin. This is the B cover. It's the Ricardo Lopez Ortiz homage variant, and this is from the Batman Robin that was done by Grant Morrison, and the artist is escaping me at the moment, the original artist from that book. But this book here, just because it's a cover B, open order, $35. It is up $35. Actually, it's up $30. It's $35, meaning that just last week you could have gotten this for about $5. So what has happened? I honestly don't know. There is another Robin that's called Robins, plural, with an S at the end, where the issue 2, I call it the gay Robin variant because it has, older dick, and his boxers are real low, and it shows those cum gutters. And it's $100 book. It was an open order variant, but little by little, it's just been inching up. I should have pulled it. You had Tacoma hearing me earlier going, I can hear you talking about your knee. Are you okay over there? It's at the bottom corner of a row. It's just hard to get to. But yeah, some of these books, I mean, there's some Robin or Red Hood and the Outlaws, like an issue 36B cover. It's this Yasmin Putri. Those books are like going for $30, $40, $50, $80 or up. And they're open order. Maybe you can tell us in the chat what's going on. Thank you, C. Woodard. It was Frank Quietly that I was talking about that was homaging this cover. Quietly, which is how I am quietly losing my mind sometimes. I just call it Tuesdays around here. Next up, we got number 2. This is Avengers. Number 16. This is the third appearance of Kang the Conqueror. Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver all joined the Avengers as well. Now, this book came out way back in 1965 and in a fine minus condition. Somebody paid $100. It is up $49. It's a pretty cover. There's no real reason for this to be up other than, there's another Avengers movie that is eventually going to be coming up in a couple years, but it seems a little early. But again, what do I know? $100 is still pretty good for a 5.5. But if you wait, I'm sure you can find another one because there's plenty. Now, Tacoma might want to grab his copy to be twinsies here because we got number 1, a book that he just got the other week. And that book is Destroyer Duck, number 1, yes.
Ooh. So this has
Number 1
gone
book
up.
in all the land is Giant Size X-Men number 1. It's the first. It has gone up, in fact, yes. A 5.0, very good, fine copy, and yours is better than that.
Oh, yeah.
It went up $230. It is now this week $1,525 that somebody paid for that. Here's my copy right here, and my copy is 5.5. And then when you look at Tacoma's copy, I mean, mine has like these things going on there at the bottom. My spine kind of looks like that and everything. But let's take a look at Tacoma's. Let me take that down.
No spine problems at all. Pretty bright. It's got coloring along the top. But we're looking at like a 7.0 with a good clean and a press, maybe an 8.0. So pretty happy.
And just because the way of the world is what it is.
You got that with that 5.0.
Warning. Banger alert.
Well, because the both of us can do this now. Join the club, be like us, go bankrupt, and get yourself a Giant Size X-Men number 1. Or just get the reprint and, don't go bankrupt and, comic responsibly.
The reprints just, if you really want it, go get it. But they just fight a planet. It's really weird. It's a really weird story.
It's not a Chris Claremont story.
And fight a planet.
Yeah, it's not a Chris Claremont story. I think, what is it, Roy Thomas?
No, not even. It's a lesser known guy they got on it. Like, I mean, every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, who is that? I don't think it was Roy Thomas. Watch me be mistaken. Sorry, it was Len Wein. And Dave Cockrum did the illustration. So at least that was consistent.
So Len Wein, the guy who's known for saying about Barbara Gordon, cripple the bitch.
I
You
did
know,
not know that.
a couple weeks ago on Blue Sky, I'm posting about the history of Barbara Gordon and Batgirl and how she became Oracle. And I'm writing about who the editor was that said that. And instead of saying Len Wein, I completely say a different editor. And
Oh,
I had people from the comic industry coming out and like going, hey, you know, it wasn't him that said that. I'm like, hey, it was like 4 a.m. when I was writing this. Sorry. So I corrected myself because, hey, this is going to be a big month for me coming up in about another 2 weeks on, oh, hey, Grant. You
what's
came
up,
at a good
Grant?
time, buddy. So on April 22nd, it'll be 6 years that I have not had any alcohol whatsoever. So, I mean, that was my big book after year one to get. Ooh, that's a nice one over there. Oh,
No,
you're good.
I was hiding the beer.
Beer, it's apple juice.
There you go.
But yeah, after the first year, that's when I went, okay, I'm going to get like the biggest book that I've been wanting forever. And what was that book? It was the first appearance of Barbara Gordon, 359 or 357? 359 of Detective Comics. And I've just been getting the bigger books ever since. But yeah, so I can make mistakes. So whenever I do make mistakes, I will always admit it. It's just part of our program. So, Tacoma, did you pick up any books this week?
I did. I
New
did.
comics, old comics? It's just us tonight. We're going to be intimate with our audience. In fact, here, let me change the camera on over so I can talk to everybody.
All right. Sorry. Oh,
I
look
want to
at that.
welcome everybody to the show here tonight. We're going to be showing some comics from our collections. We're going to be showing you all things that we just got this coming week. And maybe we're going to be talking about things that'll be coming out soon that nobody else knows about. Like,
I have about.
did you all know that in issue 33 of Miles Morales, there's going to be a brand new Hulk? There's this doctor, I think it's Kaisha Kwan, and she's going to be a new Hulk. So remember, issue 33 of Miles Morales. Her name is going to be Powerlift. Don't tell anybody. It's just our little secret. All right, over to you, Tacoma.
Maybe she needs to meet Amadeus Cho. Anyway, I got about 2 chunks worth, and then I've got the Guess the Artist game. So let's just jump right into it. This is neither the first Judge Dredd in England or America, but this is the first American reprint of the first Judge Dredd story. And even though it says Quality Comics, apparently that's not the name of the company. You got to look it up. I forget what it is, but it's not Quality Comics, even though that's what it says. So this is reprinting the first Judge Dredd story ever, first American reprinting of that. And then I got that. But those both actually, I think, came out after the first American Judge Dredd, which was Harris Comics, or Eagle Comics, sorry. Number 1, he is the law. And then I picked up number 6. And I missed a few of them. Crack Toast, my friend Brian, posted some books that he got at half price. I love this cover, by the way. It's so cool.
Death.
At half price on like Wednesday. Or Tuesday or Wednesday when I was in Leavenworth with my son. I was like all pissed off that he got like some good books.
I'm sorry, you were in Leavenworth.
So there's a Leavenworth in Washington. And whenever I tell my mom I'm going to Leavenworth, she's like, "You're going to Kansas? Or you're going to the gold?" No, Leavenworth, Washington is one of those tourist destinations. It's a totally fake Bavarian village. Everything has an E on the end. Shop, right? Ye old shop. And it's all like, beer steins and Nordic imagery. And it's all fake. But there's an amazing river that you can raft there, canoe, kayak, inner tube. Like there's just cottage industries of like, hey, rent our inner tubes and we'll drive you up there, and then you float back and check them in. Thousands of people do it every day in the summer. There's amazing mountain biking, and what I went for this time, there's amazing rock climbing. It's right at the edge of the Cascade Mountains. So I went there to go rock climb with my son, which is why my knee's in pain, because I'm not young like my son. though I did
We
school,
all old.
I did school him on some slab climbing. He's looking for big holds to do 45-degree, and I'm like, how about this? He goes, there's no holds on that. I'm like, yes, there are. You just have to know how to look. So I schooled him on a couple slabs. Anyway, more Judge Dredd. That's the Leavenworth I was in. Then I picked this one up. I'm like, ooh, number one. Then I realized it was in the Judge Child quest, but still pretty cool. Pretty ridiculous, actually. Just art, which is what I love about it. No, not the toad. Gotta love that. And then this one I picked up. I've been flirting with the idea of getting this book for a while. And I was like, cool. I found a good copy in good condition for a good price. So Destroyer Duck was an attempt by, I forget which author, basically to make money for his lawsuit against Marvel. So kind of a one-shot, interesting little comic. Good one to pick up if you find it. And then my friend Rob, who runs a weekly comic book show, showed the other day the second print of this book, but he said he never had the first print. So I found a first print for him. So that one is going to Rob, not near mint. Lumberjanes, great fun read.
That's hot.
Yeah. And then we've got Fighting Forces. Now this one is 1962, I think. It is, I'm not gonna, usually when I show people if I'm selling a book, I will hold the cover and show them the staples are attached. If I hold this by the cover, the staples may not be attached much longer. But there is a page in here. This is one of those ones that's referred to by Key Collector Comics in the category of Lichten Stolen.
Lichten stolen.
Meaning there is a panel in here that Roy Lichtenstein used for one of his famous paintings without ever crediting the original artist. The original artist goes into obscurity, while Roy Lichtenstein makes millions of dollars off of his paintings. And I can't find the page.
Back in college, I would have art teachers telling us, comics are bullshit. Roy Lichtenstein is a real artist. And I was over here going, but he didn't credit the real artist that he stole from. He didn't steal. Well, when you start going to art school, and really any school, research your professors, because maybe you don't need to respect all their opinions.
Yeah. So anyway, this one it's getting close to the there's a spine split, but it's still a big book. This one's in like a 3.0 condition, so that is also going to Rob, who collects military comics. And then for Caroline, she loves these Modeling with Millie and these old teen romance comics from the 60s. So I got her Millie the Model issue 42. Millie, my darling, I love you. They can't be just acting, not the way she's looking at him. So that's the sort of stuff that Carolyn loves. So that is for her. I picked this 0 up because I didn't know there was a 0. I had 1 through 12 and thought I was done. I actually have variants of 1 through 12. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is a much lower grade, but I picked it up because Mr. Jackal, who's on Astonishing Comics auction, pointed out that once they got to issue 65 of the X-Men, they started doing the reprints from 65 to 94. So basically from 1970 to 1975, the X-Men weren't in any original new stories in Marvel, with the exception of Team Up number 4, where they put in an appearance. So I collect 2 in 1. I don't collect Team Up. I just had to choose one or the other, and I like the Thing better. But I just thought it was kind of cool to get this book because it's, a story with the original team after issue 65, but before 94. So kind of like a little interlude of X-Men, if you will.
And what was the reason that the X-Men were no longer allowed in their own book because the Hulk came into town, got into a big fight with the X-Men, destroyed half the town, and then they blamed the dirty little muties.
I thought it was just because it wasn't selling well, so they started doing the reprint.
That is the reason why.
Okay.
But when they're telling the fans, they're not going to tell them, yeah, we're going into reprints because, listen, you idiots aren't reading this stuff here. So no, they just write it off that way. That's why the Beast went in his own direction and went, I'm going to start taking drugs that I designed myself. And before testing them on anything, hey, I like being a furry.
All right. Moving on.
Back to you.
I have not read Winds yet by Tinian, and I found this cool variant. Book is, still holds a little bit of value, so I picked it up for $2 at half price. Speaking of Tinian, I like covers that are horizontal like this, so I guess this is a follow-up to Nice House by the Lake.
It is.
I thought I would give that a read since it's the number one. And then the final book in this second stack is a Christmas book. I collect Christmas covers. That's more recent little niche thing that I've been doing. But I thought it was pretty cool having Santa with his arms around or his hands around the neck of Blade. Just thought that was a pretty cool cover. So
Ho, ho, ho.
Exactly. On to you.
All right. Here we go.
Did you get anything? Oh, you got a few. Okay.
Did I get anything?
You got a few.
This is
You got a
the
little
past
bit.
week alone. So in the back here, these are the new books, which I'm not going to show tonight because we have game night for the audience a little bit later. And you can watch the new comic books in a short that I have. I've been doing shorts for the Not Near Mint channel. So at least for 4 out of the 5 days during weekdays, I have at least 3 dedicated to trying to do full runs or as many as I can in a minute, set to some trance dance music. If you're into that, if not, just hit mute. But if you do like it, I got some good tunes for you. Otherwise, that was set to some music. I did this week Wolverine. I did last week Animal Man and Captain America. There's all kinds of good stuff on there if you wanted to see parts of my collection. So what I'm going to show you instead is something that I will be making a short for Saturday. So immediately after this show, that's when I'm going to just shoot this, and you'll be seeing that for a short tomorrow. And it'll probably be featuring brand new music that hasn't been even heard into the studio quite yet. So here we go. I'm going to show some of these books. And since there's so many, I'm going to divide it into 2 stacks.
Go for it.
All right. We're going to start with a Marvel stack first. Oh, yeah, you heard that sound. I love that sound when you go, I got a lot of comics. And because I had to put at least 2 pieces of... well, it could be that, too. It's a very similar sound, aren't they? All right, here we go. So, some of these I got from, if you recall last week, we had a member that I've known for a long time. His name is Jared Troutman. He goes by Water Tribe J on the socials, whether it be Twitter. I don't think he uses that, but definitely on Blue Sky. So these are some of the things I got from him, and a few things from my shop too. So this is Battle issue 22, and I learned a few things this week. So I don't know how well you can see that there. I'm going to try and get as close as I can. Maybe it'll focus. All right, maybe, well, whatever. So it says on there, even though you can't read it, conforms to the comic code. That's what it says right there in that little star. This came out in there we go, almost. This came out in 1963 or 1953. And something to know right off the bat, in 1954, you had Frederick Wertham publish a book called Seduction of the Innocent. Seduction of the Innocent led to congressional hearings that basically made moms tell little boys like, a young Ian way back in the day, okay, Ian, bring your comics. We're going to the local church book burning. And the kids wouldn't look like that after being told that, but
Daddy doesn't go to church. Why do we have to go to church? That's what I used to
Instead,
say.
it would be like this. In fact, there was even a short aside here to this, but way back in the 50s, when people were setting fire to comic books because it might make little Johnny gay, or it might make little Teddy into a serial killer. Oh, well, maybe Kaczynski, maybe him. But the Comics Code didn't get created until 1954. But here's a comic book from 1953 that has that comic code. So back in the 50s, you'd have the come on, Johnny, bring your comics. We're going to set them on fire. And you'd have this one kid that had an Action Comics #1, stuffed it into a wall, and the house was being demoed. And a few years ago, somebody pulled it out of the wall, brought it home. They knew how much it would be as they were telling their family how much it costs. The mother grabbed the comic out of the kid's hand or the guy's hand and ripped it about that much, making it from like $1 million book into a $500,000 book. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, that's the Comics Code. It was just because the covers were too horrific or violent or sexual. And even the battle covers that started with issue 11, and this is Atlas, this is Marvel before Marvel was Marvel. So they just stuck that on there because, much like today when we're seeing fascism creep in, and we had somebody in our comment section last week that was commenting how, well, we liked the show until it became political. I'm like, man, comics has always been, and we are to a certain degree, and most of us on this show are all liberal. So we're going to be given that viewpoint. There's plenty of other shows out there. So if you don't like that, I'm sorry, but that's what we talk about here. Just we talk real stuff. So back in 1953, they were putting this little stamp on the book, and the stamp saying that there's a comics code, that they're following guidelines that don't exist yet because it's still a year early, but it wanted to tell newsstands. It wanted to tell parents that, hey, if you see this right here, yeah, little Johnny's not reading anything that's going to be really harmful for him.
Just war.
They're just war comics. We're just killing some Japs. We're just killing some Nazis because we're just going to demean all humanity by, instead of calling them Japanese people, we'll call them Japs, or we'll call the Germans Krauts. But to be fair, I'm German and we were assholes in that war. But yeah, it's okay to read it. Here's the Comics Code. So it was books like these putting this onto the book that, while there was no such thing as a Comics Code, it made it happen. Because once those hearings in Congress started, they were looking at books like this and went, you know what, we got to make a real Comics Code. So even though they had covers where people were getting stabbed or beheaded and still got this Comics Code thing here, well, when the real Comics Code got enforced, these kind of covers, they stopped happening. And this is Joe Maneely. Joe Maneely barely worked in comics before his untimely end. All right. I spent enough time on that book there. I'm going to try and fly through these a little faster. So here we have BWS, Barry Windsor Smith, issue 2, second appearance of Conan the Barbarian. Kind of funny looking faces, but it's the 70s and he's still getting better with his form. But we love Barry Windsor. Issue 2. That was a new pickup. Here's something that I've been looking forever. I don't know why it is I couldn't find it, but finally got it this week, $12. First appearance of Circe. And I knew who Circe was before I knew who the Eternals was, because I was reading Avengers back in the 90s when I was like losing interest in a lot of the stuff because, hey, let's make everything extreme. But you had Circe, and she was wearing the jacket that belonged to, I think, Black Knight. That's how I know Circe. She was an Avenger. All right, here's another one. So in watching the new movie, Incredible Hulk 3, Captain America 3, it's really a Hulk sequel. So you might have heard that they had to go back and reshoot all the scenes with Tim Blake Nelson, who played Samuel Stearns, because his head looked like this. But then they showed it to test audiences, and I guess it didn't work well. So they went back and reshot it. They took up that side of the head and they made it look like a scrotum. But we like him this way, and all I can think of, what could have been.
The leader.
Yeah. Here we have the first Daughters of the Dragon in comics. The first time they actually appear is in that the Kung Fu series that had White Tiger, the oversized, but this is the first time in comics. And this one is another one that if you're trying to look it up in Key Collector, don't bother. If you're trying to look it up in CLZ to see a picture of it, don't bother. This is the super rare final issue newsstand
Very
of
nice.
Muppet Babies. So if you look in Key Collector and you go to Muppet Babies and you select non-key because you're trying to look for final issue 26. It only runs up to issue 25. If you look in CLZ, it'll show the cover A without the newsstand there, but it does not show a picture of this. So these last issues of Muppet Babies, really difficult to find. What did I put this at? Very fine. Not bad.
Very
I don't
cool.
mind. Here we have the first appearance of Prodigy. Way back in the early days of our show, I had a full run of this, along with a lot of things, but now it's going, well, it's not volume 1. I guess I don't need it anymore. So 8 long boxes to a guy that stole from the community. And oh, wow, $400 for those 8 boxes. And now I'm picking these up one by one. That's why I don't like selling. Now that we have Marvel and DC doing another team up together, there's a few books that I was still missing from the 90s, and this was one of them, Silver Surfer Superman. This one I got from my guy Jared. This is Tales of Suspense, issue number 18. It's low grade because there's a big cut between the books, a little faded, but dude, 1962 or 61. Yeah, I'll take that.
I love that red to orange to yellow background they did in so many of those comics.
Oh, yeah. It's so 60s. This is all going to be part of the haul video that I'm going to be doing starting tomorrow.
All right.
So this is another thing I picked up from Jared. This is the second appearance of Supergirl. She's not on the cover. I mean, sort of. I mean, at the top, a new Supergirl adventure. Issue 252 is her first appearance. Wow. 253. She's not on the cover. It's just Jimmy versus Superman. So because of that, much cheaper. I even put that at 3.5. After that, oh, you're already seeing some of the things I still have here. Okay, we got Bizarro Superman, because Superman and Bizarro switched minds because, you know, when you're running out of ideas, just switch minds, have doppelgangers. That's what they all do. That's what all do. Here we have Animaniacs number 1. There's a bunch of crap on the cover. I don't know how I'm going to get it off. Maybe I should try some Beth.
They're toony, and in this cartoony, they're invading your TV.
Anytime I see the Warner water tower, all I can think of is, are we going to see Wacko, Yakko, and Dot today? Yeah, there's all this crap on the book. I don't know what kind of staining it came from, but whatever. It's the first appearance of the Animaniacs. It's the first appearance of Pinky and the Brain, and you're going to be seeing them in just a minute. Real quick, did you have any more books, or should I keep going?
I got another stack. I am not limited.
Go. What are you? Because we'll do the game towards the end because it's just you and me. So we're going to be playing with the audience. So audience, if you want to stick around, we're going to be playing shortly. Fantastic
Four 57 and 59. Definitely lower grades. Perhaps a little lower than I expected, but I'm not going to blame the seller. I also only half pay attention to auctions sometimes. So I bid and won. Happy to add these to, I've got like 52, not 52, I've got 47, 48, and 51 or something. So trying to get some nice Silver Age Fantastic Four because I think they were pretty cool around then, but not like my major focus. Love this book. Love G. Willow Wilson. Love Chris Wildgoose just because it's a cool name. But Barbarian Kung Fu sells stuff. It's his selling account. Had the 1 in 50, which I could not afford when it came out. He had it for a ridiculously low price. Super happy to get that. Great read, Hunger in the Dusk. If you ever get a chance, I definitely suggest it. Real Lord of the Rings type stuff there. Picked up a bunch of these issues because I've never read them before. Hey, Cliff, when I pull out my banger, you'll know. Great issue. Issue 9, some graphic depiction of woman giving birth, but I do not think it's really well done. and then issue 10, and I've got 11 and 12 upstairs. I'd like to get 1 through 8 at some point so I could read them, but happy to finally find the original Eclipse Miraclemen or Miraclemans. This is just in my pile because it's in my pile. I've read like 1 through 6, and I'm missing 7, 8. So I can't read 9 yet, and it's driving me crazy. But if you haven't read Deviant, probably one of the best comics that I've read in a long time. Certainly the best comic of 2024. I've heard Cliff and John talk about it. They agree. It's the art, right? Not that there's anything wrong with the writing, but it's one of those ones where they tell such a powerful story through art. And you're like, yes, that's why comics exist, because it would be 100 pages to describe that they just did in 9 panels, and it's beautiful. Definitely read the Deviant, get it in trade paperback. So worth it. Grabbed myself a little Lunella, the 1 in 10. Don't really like the revamped look here, but whatever. Gotta love some Moon Girl. Picked this up today at half price. Great little Captain Marvel and Hulk battle. So it's one more down in my quest to finish this series. They have issue 27 and 28. I got to look at the condition. They have them both at $40 each, which...
And that Hulk book with Captain Marvel has always been traditionally a more expensive book, but the further we get away from the 70s, the lower it becomes, and we know what it is.
This cost me $15 today, so I was happy with that.
Nice.
Shadows of the Empire, I own it already, but it's a nice newsstand. First appearance of Prince Sizor. A couple other firsts in there. Can't stay away from the Dark Horse Star Wars, especially when it comes in a newsstand. If I can get a Scotty Young for $2, I'll get a Scotty Young for $2. Then I'll probably sell it. That goes into my sell pile. I went to an antique store in Cle Elum, not Cleolum, not Clellum, Cle Elum, which is like this little town that if you were driving from the west side of Washington somewhere towards the east side, you probably stop there for lunch, and they know it. And so they got like overpriced. They make you pay for parking now, which is new. Overpriced diners, which I love. I go to, and some antique stores. And I went to this antique store specifically looking for comic books. They had a Rock Band T-shirt area, so my son was happy to let me look for comics while he looked through the Rock Band T-shirts. And I found what I was looking for: underpriced comics. Little bag that said Invincible Iron Man, 7 through 14, $24. So I know these are not $100 books anymore, but the two of them together, I think, are worth a bit more than $24. First Riri Williams and the first Ironheart. Boom, 7 and 9. So I was happy to get that. This one, the next 4 or 5 need a press. That's why they're in this part of the pile. But I picked this up in Newsstand 2011, Spectacular Spider-Man 1000, Punisher on the cover. Finally, hey, Entropy. Finally got myself the second Rogue, the kind of evil-looking short hair with the bob in the back Rogue. I don't know. I always thought that was kind of a cool Rogue. She had a much more angular face than later Rogue. But that needs a press.
Pixie Rogue with the southern accent that would make me go, right? Okay.
It like a Happy Pixie's more like, I'm a pixie and I'm going to kill you. I'm angry at everybody. And when I touch people, I take their powers and I don't like it. Wah!
No. Early days of Rogue was like, my kind of woman, and my kind of woman is one that looks like she can kill me. Oh, wait.
Nope. Stop talking. Go to jail.
Yeah, I don't know. I like later Rogue. Vader down. Vader is down. I have like 8 copies of different variants. I did not have the GameStop exclusive. I picked it up for $5. It needs a press. That's why it's in the bottom of the pile. And it came with the free previews, which is pretty cool. It's got a whole bunch of previews in there for Star Wars. I think I have seen that preview stuff before. So, yeah, that's what I got.
All right. Well, here's some of the things I also got. And Rogue was an angry, strong hillbilly, and sometimes those are pretty awesome.
Cliff nailed it. Yep.
And as Kev says, jail has nice women or women that you go, but I can change her. It's like, no, we want them insane. Insane is awesome for reasons that will, for our younger viewers, will make more sense as you take them home at night. You will come to understand that later. Never mind. So here is another Flash race with the Superman. It's the same cover almost, but with Mixia Spitlick from Superman 199.
I love how you just have that pronunciation roll off your tongue.
Always. Tacoma says, stay tuned. After Rob's turn, we'll be playing Guess the Artist Death version. They're also kinky and into cuffs. And we're not talking about like the fuzzy cuffs. I'm talking about the actual police cuffs that make it real, which makes it hotter. Okay, we're talking about things that maybe we shouldn't be talking about on a comic show. No, of course. That's also why you turn in, because of stuff like this, like the kinky marriage of Batman and Batwoman. And what's this one about? This one was about, well, they get married in a dream sequence that Robin is having, because Robin is going, but what's my place if they get married? I won't have a place. Oh, and they'll know that Kate Kane is Batwoman and Batman is Bruce Wayne, and that means they'll find out my identity. Oh, good thing it was just a dream. That's all the issue was about, and it's a backup story. But this is also the oldest Batman I have right now, which is annoying. Why is it annoying? What's in issue 121, the issue just prior to this? It's the first appearance of Mr. Freeze, or rather,
you know what? That was on my tongue, and I didn't want to say it in case I was wrong and showed I know nothing about DC, but it was just the style of the font of the Batman that it felt like that was the time period.
And you would be correct. It was late.
I chickened out, so I don't get credit.
Yeah, it's early silver or late golden. And speaking of early silver, this is a Sheldon Moldoff cover for all these different Jokers. Now, I was at a trial today. You got a judge. You got, I guess that's supposed to be the jury. I don't see the witness box. I don't see the court reporter, which would be me. I guess they even took Batman's belt because they figured he might escape. But there's a person in our audience that we all love and know, Ricardo Vacas. He loves these kind of covers where they're all in the courtroom. So I had to take a picture and show him earlier in the week.
There you go.
Next up, got another one of these. This is, I guess, the Feline Furry's first appearance. And, you know, there's Catwoman as she appears in 1969. Kind of a Neil Adams cover, kind of.
You cleaned up, man. You went full force this week.
Yeah, and a lot of these I got for under $20, so it's not because they're really great condition. Some of them are really nice, but he just wanted to clear out inventory. And when my guy, Miami Fresh Comics over on Instagram, when he does his claim sales, the later it gets, the more he's inclined to go, listen, I'm sleepy. I just want to get this stuff out of here. So here's the first time the Shadow appears in DC in a Batman book. Lady Fantastic had this the other week, and I was going, oh, I got that too. Let me do a twinsie. Shit, I don't have it. But I got it this week. Just like I got this, 80-page giant or 100-page giant that features Scarecrow. But this is a much bigger book that I got this week. So I violated my Lent. I wasn't going to be getting any big books, but the price was right. This is Brave and the Bold issue number, I think, 34. This is the first appearance of Hawkman and Hawkgirl in the Silver Age.
Wow.
And here's the second appearance of Hawkman and Hawkgirl Silver Age. Now, funny thing about this is that if you wanted to get an actual first appearance of Hawkman and Hawkgirl, I mean, she's not Hawkgirl in the first issue. She's just Shiera Sanders. That happens later on. But if you wanted their first appearance, it'd be worth more than your car. If your car was a Lexus, even in shit tier grade, because that would be Flash Comics #1 from 1940. So if you can't get that, this is the next best thing. Still not a cheap book. There's the second, which has extra staples which gets even more annoying when you realize that once you take it out, that the cover's detached.
Ah, post-production staples.
Just extras. I mean, I have a copy of the first appearance of Silver Sable, and there are no staples because when it's shipped out, it just never got touched by the staple machine. Don't know how that happened. All right. Here we got some war books because I'm a big time war collector now. This time last year, I was not collecting any war comics, but then I got a hold of this guy, Bill in Colorado, who hooked me up with a great deal. So now I'm collecting the big 5 war books. One of them is GI Combat that features the Haunted Tank. Just finally got a first appearance and first cover appearance of the Haunted Tank a few weeks ago. And here, we can already start playing this game. Who's the artist that did this, kid?
Bernie Wrightson?
Who's the artist that did this, kid?
Sounds like an inappropriate question.
Who's the artist that did this, kid? We're not going to be bringing up Neil Gaiman. Who's the artist that did this, kid?
I do not know. Anybody?
Anybody in the chat, anybody, literally anybody.
Let me see the book.
Literally anybody. Who did this, kid? Yeah, see how game night's going to go tonight. All right, counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2. It was Joe Kubert.
There you go.
When in doubt, when it comes to these covers, there's like 3 big artists. It's going to be Joe Kubert, Jerry Granadetti, and who's the third that I'm missing right here? Bob Haney's the writer. Robert Kanigher is the writer. I'm slipping. I'll remember it later. All right, more Kubert. Big combat with a big, thick book with a nice, big, thick spine roll. And next up, we have a book that nobody wants. I mean, except me. So whenever characters join a team, you usually think it's a big deal, right? Well, this is the first time that Zatanna joined the Justice League. But you're probably going, oh, cool, where's Zatanna? She's on the cover. But where? Where's Zatanna? Oh, you didn't notice her? She's the one that looks like she's been cross-dressing between Doctor Strange and Power Girl to come up with a character nobody asked for. Yeah, they redesigned Zatanna's suit in the same issue that she joins the Justice League because I imagine that parents didn't quite like the fishnets, whereas I go, don't break it if it ain't broke. Fishnets. That's all I have to say about that. Here's a 80-page giant, and anytime there's an 80-page giant from these old 60s books, you'll be noticing in price guides that for random issues of, and we'll call it filler because you all do too, if it's a filler book that's not a first appearance and it's an old 60 book and you're looking down a price guide where it's 150, 150, 150, 250, 250, 150, and you're like, why are those more? Oh, those were the 25 centers. Whenever you're seeing in a 1960s book, when it goes into a giant size issue and it has 25 cents, way back in the day, if you were doing a subscription, and a lot of these will have that subscription crease going down the center, that if it came out with an 80-page giant or one that was like more expensive and you had a subscription, you would not get this book. You would have to go to the newsstand to get this. So those issues wind up being a little bit more. They're less printed because they knew that they'd sell less of them because they were charging more than twice the amount of a regular book. And this is just back in the 60s, just the difference between 12 cents and 25 cents. So applying that same logic to today, you're seeing a comic book come out and instead of like a $3.99, $4.99 price tag, you're seeing $8.99, $9.99, $10.99. Or in the case of that Batman 159 that just came out the other week, that was the Hush, but way oversized and foil, and it was released as a $20 book, and now it's going for $55. Same principle. Whenever it costs a little bit more, people order less. There's going to be less of it, and if you give it enough time, they're usually worth more because cost and demand. Here's another Art Army at War with Joe Kubert. He has a very distinctive style that people like Art Adams and Frank Quietly would start using similarly themselves. That's why there's a Kubert skew. Speaking of skew, and I'm showing books here like you're going to be seeing here in just a minute. Here's another bullet for Rock. Pinky and the Brain. So you have books like this. You even had Freakazoid. Where is South Park? Huh? What the fuck is South Park? That should be like, it's not even with a thought. That should be like easy thinking. Where's a South Park comic? Why didn't it happen? Let us know in the chat. In any case, this is the first issue of Pinky and the Brain, and regular, not newsstand stuff in the front end of their shirts because, trust me, Pinky, this is what it takes to be big in comics. And for those of you that didn't know what Pinky and the Brain was about, it was about two laboratory mice. Their genes have been spliced. They're Pinky and the Brain. They're trying to take over the world. One's a genius. The other's insane. Can you tell which is which? Who's the genius and who's insane? Well, considering what's been happening with the stock market and everything else in America over this last week, month, year, I'm willing to hear the Brain's platform for world domination. Hell, I'm ready to hear Pinky's platform. I mean, Pinky's the genius, right? Hey, here's the Jaws cover with a homage. And we're coming up to the last book of my whole pickups. This is Swamp Thing number 12. This is after Bernie Wrightson had left because he didn't like the colors. So Nestor Redondo stepped in, and his artwork is really, really nice too. So those were the back issues. So I think we're going to try playing just a couple rounds because we don't have a full panel tonight. But that's okay. We have a whole audience that's watching. So maybe y'all want to play along with us. So we're going to be doing our game night.
All right. So last thing I picked up that I haven't shown you is from 1994, Vertigo DC imprint, The Death Gallery. And there are many, many beautiful, beautiful drawings of death in here. But I picked out a few by some more famous artists and wanted to see if you could guess who they were. So we'll start off right here. Anybody want to guess this one? Pretty well. I only did the well-known artists. Nope. There is a Quesada in here. That's not Quesada, though.
I know he's in there. I forgot which one it was.
You were hedging your bets.
Yeah, let me get the tag off the screen. There we go.
All right, this was
maybe a little closer because I couldn't see very well.
Brian Boland.
Oh. Brian, really?
Yep. And
okay, I see it.
This page, his most popular
Mark Hempel
artwork was kids.
Jeff Smith.
Jeff Smith, very good.
I saw the earring bone.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Let me show that again, just in case anybody missed it. Ooh, South Park put out a comic annual in 2012 and 2013. I happen to think
we're going to need to find that.
But I happen to think that because of the way the characters are drawn, nobody wanted to just like put out, almost stick figures, I guess.
I would say that about Rick and Morty, and now the first issue's like $100+ book. Same thing with like freaking SpongeBob, and also hi Monty.
This one here doesn't look like the rest of this artist's work.
Colleen Duran.
No, Colleen Duran's in here too, but not this one.
Adam Hughes.
Yes.
No. Oh.
Yes, okay. It does not look like a typical Adam Hughes, but there's no mistaking the AH.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was shocked when I saw Adam Hughes in the index. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but then it was not Adam Hughes. This one is not the most popular, but did over 100 issues on a single comic.
Let's see a little closer. Peter Mill? No, not Peter Milligan.
Fables.
Fables. I know the writer, the artist is escaping me at the moment. Bill Willingham? No, Bill Willingham's
Bill Williams is the writer, but it also ends in HAM, Mark Buckingham.
Ah, Mark Buckingham. The guy who was working on Miracleman towards the end.
Yes.
And yes, Cliff, Colleen is absolutely amazing, both as an artist and a human being.
Yes. The bed one first.
Hard to tell.
Madman.
I was going to say Evan Dorkin, but no.
Nope.
Madman is, why isn't it coming to me?
It's Girl. Husband and wife team.
Hewitt?
Nope. Laura and Mike Allred.
Allred, that's it.
And then this next one.
Miracleman was here, he'd be smacking me upside the head with a rolled up newspaper.
It's okay to do these without him sometimes. This one's tough. I only know him because I have like a lot of his one big comic. He's underground independent guy. Think chainsaws and ninjas, samurai. Jeff Darrow.
Oh. Usually I'm used to seeing like every inch of space being covered with something.
Yeah, some artists really went different on these. Here is one of the Sandmen artists.
Mark Hempel. Gotta be Mark Hempel.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
All right, which one did that?
Dave McKean.
Oh, hard to tell when he's not using the collage.
Yeah. And I think this is the last one. And I can't see the artist's name on here, so I don't think I'm giving it away. Which one am I doing? This yellow one.
I'm going to guess that one is the Joe Quesada one.
No. Looks like his
Art
earlier
Adams.
work.
Art Adams, definitely because of the dinosaurs.
Yep, Art Adams. All right, and because somebody mentioned Colleen Duran, let me find the Colleen. Oh, what was this one? Oh, little Watchmen artist for you.
Ooh. Dave Gibbons.
Dave Gibbons, indeed. All right, let me find the Colleen Duran since a lot of people were mentioning her. Page 23, and let me find the Joe Quesada since page 30. Now I got to go alphabetic order. That's Paul. Oh, so this one here is Paul Craig Russell and Joe Quesada together. And then the Colleen Duran was page 23, 30, 28, 26, 24. Oh, cool. There's Colleen Duran.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's saying a lot there. Wow. That's pushing the boundaries. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Hey, Dog came in. She must have known the show was winding down.
Puppy.
Hey, sweetheart. Yeah. Okay, sit. And that's all I got.
All right, so that was a bit of game night. We're going to try doing this again and incorporate it into future episodes because we like trying to figure out who the artists are because, we forget things all the time ourselves because for every new fact that we remember, we forget bullshit. Like how to tie our shoes, how to remember the word for a writing utensil. It's 3 letters. Sometimes it has ink
Marker.
inside of it. No, that's not it's like 3 letters. I once forgot this word for like 2 days or so back in college because I didn't sleep for 3. Pen, that's it. Pen. Lapis.
There you go.
But that's basically been our show tonight. We want to thank everybody for joining us. Ian, thank you so much for coming. Miracleman, he is out at a show right now where he is getting to meet Brian Halloran. You know him as I'm not even supposed to be here today from Clerks. He's having a good time. Lady Fantastic, she needs her rest. Meanwhile, it's just us here tonight. So we will be back next week. Next week will be the 18th of April. It's going to be another old comic book day. We're going to be bringing some great stuff here for you to see. We're going to be trying to do another game night, just incorporated. Maybe more people will be coming. Maybe we might even have Vogs on the show because he's been talking about it long enough. So otherwise, drop a comment for anything that you want to see on the show. I don't know. Are you going to be on this tomorrow night?
On this?
Yeah, the whale auction.
Oh, no, I'm not doing the whale auction this time. I sold all my whale books. I need to I'd be getting PC stuff out. No. Not doing the whale tomorrow, but I'm sure I'll be watching just to see what's going down.
You got your whale.
I sold a bunch of whales, little whales to get that whale. So, yeah. I think anything else that would qualify as $100 start is something I want to keep. I don't see much around here that's like, oh, yeah, that book I'm on the fence about. No.
Yeah, just wait till next week when I show that Robin's #2 cover. Jesus. Yeah, it's a really nice cover, but is it $100 cover? Like, is it a Catwoman 51 cover? Again, sometimes the older we get, some of this is for the younger people that might not gel with whatever we're into, which is okay because everybody needs to have an interest. Everybody has their niche. My niche recently has become war comics. So
Nice.
Whenever you start running out of things to collect, you find a new avenue because even once you get that book that you've always wanted, like Tacoma over here going, hey, I got my giant size X-Men #1. It becomes like the end of the movie Truman Show. What else is on? What else is there? I could get an Avengers 1 now. I could get an Avengers 4. I could get an X-Men 4. But yeah, that's been our episode tonight. Thank you all for watching. Check out the shorts that we have up on our page. We're doing them daily now. They're only a minute each. If you like trance music, and even if you don't, maybe there's something you learned that, hey, I didn't know I liked that before. Now I do. That's how I got into trance dance music about 30 years ago. I am old. Get old. Rule number 1, don't die. Love y'all. See you next week. Love you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you want to see this episode again, along with a catalog of back episodes and issues, surf on over to Not Near Mint on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications.